I will drop every penny worth of groceries that I've purchased from the store in the middle of the driveway and go back out 7 times to pick them all up before I will make 2 trips to carry inside the groceries.
Yeah, I don't get that. Why? I mean, it's exercise. How many steps you got? Like 5?
I say it's probably 25 steps from where I parked the Jeep.
I'm talking about actual steps, not stairs.
There's like 1 stair.
Okay.
It's like you got to step off the driveway up onto the back patio, but then it's 1 story. That's not the point. The point is I'm making 1 trip. The point is I'm making 1 trip. I'm not making 4. I'm not making 5. I'm not making 2. I'm making 1 trip. I will load myself down like I am Hercules himself, and I will lose the circulation to my fingers for a brief period of time before I make 2 trips. And the reason I bring this up is this happened over the weekend, and I got to ask the same question that Lonjo just asked, which is, why? It doesn't make sense. Why?
I don't understand people like you that do this thing. I have members of my own family who also do the same thing.
Cameron's that guy, isn't he?
Yes, he absolutely is. He absolutely is.
Yes, he is. I know it. You know that guy when you see that guy.
It's because you guys are all concerned with arm day and not leg day. I mean, get your leg day in. Get your steps in.
I haven't had anything day in months, all right? It's not about that. And I got to tell you the truth. When the lady friend proposed that question to me, like, why won't you just take half the stuff and then come back and get the other half the stuff instead of loading yourself down like you're training for a world's strongest man competition?
I knew she and I would be on the same side as far as this goes because we're more logical when it comes to things like this. I mean, you have a better shot of hurting yourself and or breaking the stuff that you're trying to carry when you just, I bet you like circle the parking lot waiting for that spot to get really close to the shopping center so you can save yourself some steps going into the store too, right?
Yup.
As if you're not going to walk when you get in there.
Sure do.
Wow, I saved myself 100 steps.
Listen, I can't explain it. As the great Lady Gaga said, baby, you don't have to like it. I was born this way. I cannot explain to you why I won't make 2 trips and why I have to make just the 1. Can I help? Nope, I got it. Load me up. Put another bag. My left arm still has the tip of my finger available. Hang 1 more on there.
Yeah, and the bad part is you don't have feeling in your hand for like an hour afterwards.
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, I'm out of shape, but
there's only 2 of you. I mean, how many groceries are you actually carrying? You're making it sound like you've got a lot.
We do like the once a month load the house grocery run. Like it's 1 trip a month and the Jeep is full on the way home and I'm getting them all in 1 trip. And to answer the question to her, I don't even know why I decided to bring this up. I think it's because she just shocked me with this question, right? We've been living together like 7 months now. And she's like, why do you have to do it that way? Why do you have to bring every grocery bag in on the same trip? To the point that, like, I will have the bags, and you got to leave one hand free so that you can take the 12-pack of Sprite Zero and wedge it into the arm above the grocery bags, then still have that other arm available to grab the rest of the groceries. Why do I have to do it? I don't know, but I have to. Am I alone? Am I the only one-trip guy out there that's like, yeah, I know the car is full. I can get it all.
I believe there's probably more people like me who are willing to take a couple extra trips than there are people like you.
Joe Vasquez writes in, he says, you are legally not a man if you don't almost break your back and thumbs trying to make it on one trip, getting all the groceries out of your vehicle. It is what makes us men. It's like putting a lid on the pan, putting said leftovers in the fridge, and telling the wife that you put the food away. I just go aluminum foil over the top of the fan, then right into the fridge.
You don't have lids? I could have swore that 1%ers would have lids. But, I mean, how far you have fallen that you're going for the foil. That's what us poor people do. We use foil.
Foil's easier. They don't have to wash the lids, you know? If you don't use a lid, you don't have to wash the lid.
I'm noticing a common theme here. I don't know if anyone else is noticing a common
And what's
theme
that,
here.
Zoe?
It starts with an L.
Yes.
It's got a Z in it, and it's not my name.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello to you, and how do you do, Upstate South Carolina? What up, America? Good morning, world. Great to be with you. I am Rob Brown, the great one, the professor of perfection, the sultan of swag, the wizard of wave. Lonzo is on the ones and twos today. Glad to have you guys along for the ride. Be a part of the show. 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. You can text the show on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them on the air. Tweet the show at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo Onward, and you can get it, everybody on the station, at The Fan Upstate, at The Fan Upstate. Those are all the different ways to get in touch with the show. Oh, you can also email me, rob.brown@thefanupstate.com. rob.brown@thefanupstate.com. Good first night at Burns on Friday night. Calling play-by-play, along with Sam Clark and Lane Fowler. Enjoyed that greatly. Burns had themselves a very interesting first half of that game. 14-7 at the half. Burns had a couple of big touchdown snags, and then with 8.5 minutes left to play in the first half, Brooklyn Casey goes 4-yard and a cloud of dust. To call it a jumbo, it was a jumbo formation, Lonzo. They ran two fullbacks, except for the two fullbacks are both standing, shoe to shoe, cleat to cleat next to each other, cockeyed off to the side of the quarterback, the running back behind them. So it was like an offset, double fullback, tailback formation.
So it wasn't disguised at all. I mean, so the defense could look and go,
it's going right there.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
going right there.
All right.
And I got to give some credit to Brooklyn Casey because they churned up 8 minutes and 15 seconds of double fullback, offset running back, double tight end football. And they just marched it down the field. I mean, they just ran over through Burns, punched it in 14-7, but then Coach Reggie Shaw and the gang in the second half, they fixed something. They fixed something because the final score of that game was 62-7. 14-7 at the half, 62-7 at the final whistle. Not a bad night for the Rebs.
Not bad at all. Reminiscent of back in the day when they used to do that all the time. I mean, that was like a normal thing.
Yeah. I mean, listen, that's
Probably shouldn't get too hyped up thinking it's going to be that way every week.
No. It's a 3A school. It's a 3A school, and I told you guys going in. At the end of the day, Brooklyn Casey's a good little team across the front 22. But they're also a 3A school. They got a smaller roster, right? When the war of attrition kicks in, Burns is just going to be deeper, and that came to fruition. They have got Chapman Inman coming up this weekend, and we'll get you set for that game later on in the week. Also, I don't know how I didn't lead with this. Ladies and gentlemen, this Saturday is August 27th. From August 27th until the new year, ladies and gentlemen, there is not another Saturday that is not filled up with college football. It's on! We're going. College football.
Do you count this week, though? I mean, is there a matchup that you go, yeah, I can't wait to see that?
You're not in for that big FSU Duquesne matchup, Alonzo? That's not titillating your juices?
What's Duquesne's mascot?
That's a great question. I actually don't know the answer to that.
I'm not even sure I could spell
What
Duquesne.
is Duquesne's mascot? They're the Duquesne Dukes.
Okay.
The Dukes.
All right. What's a Duke look like?
Well, I don't know because their logo is a lion wearing a top hat.
So that's what a Duke looks like, a lion wearing a top hat, apparently.
I mean, I
Is
hear
he a Duke in Narnia?
I hear
possibly?
Duke, and I think like British royalty, right? Like, isn't a Duke like a landowner in the British royalty? Or in the what do you call it, the feudalism system? I don't know, man. I always thought a Duke was like a fancy gentleman who owned land.
There's also the Duke of Earl.
Duke of Earl. Duke. You didn't think I knew that one, did you?
I was. I'm a little surprised, but you were the base, man. That's not bad.
The new logo of the Duquesne Dukes is a lion wearing a top hat. Here, I'll even share that one with the stream so that you don't think I'm being dramatic. By the way, stream.
Good, help me out because I can't spell Duquesne. I'm not even going to try, and I want to see what it looks like anyway.
There you go. That's the Duquesne Dukes logo.
It looks kind of evil, actually.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it. It's
I knew Duquesne would have an S in a weird place. That's the reason why I didn't try to. Yeah. Why put that on a red background? That just doesn't. I don't know.
Let's see. We got Nebraska Northwestern. You're a Big Ten guy. Nebraska Northwestern's got something for you, right?
All right, that's something. That piques my interest a little bit.
And it's at 12:30. You're getting your day started off. You don't even have to miss that one.
Oh, there you go.
Little Big Ten football in the afternoon. UConn, Utah State. Nah. Duquesne's at FSU, 5 o'clock. I guess we'll get an image of what FSU is going to be. Florida A&M is at North Carolina at 8:15. And we wrap it up with a 10:30 p.m. kick on Saturday, Zoe, when the Doors, Vandy, is all the way out at Hawaii.
The real reason we're not playing this weekend.
Yeah, I had to push back our Upstate Pulse D&D game for a
Vandy.
An event I have to do, and I did not want to tell Lonzo that it's like, I could come work your show, or I could stay home and watch Vandy at Hawaii.
Yeah, I get it. It's all right.
Big matchup there.
I don't blame you.
Big matchup there. The Doors at the not Rainbow Warriors. I think they still are the Rainbow Warriors, but they just don't use the rainbow logo anymore. Which I thought was, I don't know why they get rid of that. It was such a good look. The old Hawaii logos were so good. The new ones are cool too, with the like Polynesian traditional font, you know?
Yeah, I don't believe I've watched a Hawaii game since what's-his-name was there for a long period of time. The one coach that was there for a long period of time.
It was, I'm blanking.
Was in the NFL, and then he...
June Jones.
There we go. June
Jones was there.
I can picture the mustache.
Yeah. June Jones was there. And who was the quarterback they had that threw for like 5,000 yards?
Then did nothing in the NFL.
And then did nothing. How am I blanking on this? Anyway.
It's Monday, and it's my fault. I'm sorry.
Colt Brennan.
Oh, yeah. Remember
Colt Brennan. Two-time third-team All-American selected by the Washington bum. And then did nothing in the league. Nothing in the league. Played one season with the Washington football team before they were that. One with the Raiders. Then he moved on to the Hartford Colonials. Did 1 year with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And then, in case you were wondering if his career ended on a high, he did 1 year for the professional arena football team known as the Los Angeles Kiss.
Hey, don't give up your dream. You know, I mean, play it out as long as you can.
If Gene Simmons is signing your paycheck, the football career did not go the way you wanted it to.
Gene pays a good amount of money, you know. They tried to get Tebow.
They did. Tebow was better than him. He knew that. All right, last week, this past Saturday was the last Saturday sans collegiate football. We get started this Saturday. Why, yes, I am excited. Thank you for asking. I don't care if it's not the best slate of games we've ever seen. It's a slate of games, and it's been a minute. We're getting kicked off at noon with Austin Peay at Western Kentucky. A little Big Ten football, Nebraska at Northwest. That's at Northwestern, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know it's at Northwestern, though. So, I mean, there's that. Still Northwestern.
By the way, I say it's at Northwestern. That is a lie, Lonzo. This game's in Dublin, Ireland.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. It's at Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland.
Because when I think Northwestern, I automatically think Ireland. Don't you?
You know, there are teams that I think it makes sense to send international. Notre Dame in Ireland makes 100% sense. I would argue any of the military academies playing overseas to some degree makes sense. And then there might be some teams that are like specific. Why would y'all send, if you're trying to get the Irish into college football, why would you send Northwestern v. Nebraska? What do we do? What? What?
Yeah, also, nothing says Ireland like Nebraska.
And Northwestern. Nebraska played one other international game in the 1992 Coca-Cola Classic in Tokyo, Japan, when they beat Kansas State. 1 year later, Wisconsin defeated Michigan State at the 93 Coca-Cola Classic in Tokyo, which to date is the only Big Ten conference game played outside of the U.S. Saturday's game marks the earliest date of a conference matchup in Big Ten history, and it happens abroad.
Is Fitzgerald? Is that an Irish name? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
My Google history is going to be a mess after this. Going to be an absolute mess after this. Fitzgerald is an Irish surname of Hiberno-Norman origin.
There we go.
Yes,
figured it out. That's why. That's why they're in Ireland.
There you go. All right, we got Duquesne, FSU, Charlotte at FAU, Florida A&M at North Carolina, North Texas at UTEP, Nevada at New Mexico State, and we wrap it up at 10:30 with Vandy, Hawaii. Then next Thursday, it's on. That's when the big dogs get going. Central Michigan at Oklahoma State is next Thursday. West Virginia is at Pitt. That's a top 20 matchup. What else we got next Thursday? VMI at Wake.
We also have the Furman Paladins opening up their season right here on the Fan Upstate.
That is correct.
September 1st.
That is correct. My man Dan Scott on the call. We need to get Dan on. Let's get Dan on. Dan, are you listening? Dan, if you're listening, call. Usually I'm much more professional about calling you and scheduling this with you, but I'm doing a show, so.
It was on Saturday morning on the Saturday Morning Scramble.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I know, because I was here.
So was I. I mean, I wasn't here. I was on the show.
Yeah, eventually you were there.
I forgot, dude. That first time that phone rang, it didn't ring with our station thing on it. It just said like spam risk.
See, that's what it does. That's why when you call guests sometimes, I don't know why, but it doesn't have our phone number.
We need to fix
on it,
that because it said spam risk, and I'm like, I'm going back to sleep. And then at 8:01, Courtney was like, "Didn't you say you had to do a thing this morning?" And I'm like, "Uh-oh, sorry, Lonzo."
Well, I was about ready to text you, but that wouldn't have done any good either. So.
Oh, that phone was on vibrate, pal. That was a long night. Long night. All right.
And you get to do it again this week.
Seb said, not to toot my own horn, but how about Alexander Usyk? Holy cow, yeah, split decision win over Anthony Joshua. So now he's got all the belts except one. And who's got the one that Usyk doesn't have, Lonzo?
The guy that's retired?
The guy that's retired. I don't believe he's retired.
I'll come back and just have one more. Maybe he's not. The Gypsy King's not ducking Usyk.
He's playing games.
He's not.
He's playing
ducking
games.
him.
He's playing games.
He's playing money games
This
is
like
what he's doing.
Fifth fake retirement of his career. He's playing games. I'm over it.
A chance to unify. Would that be all the belts? Would it absolutely?
This would be
It
unification.
would be all of it. We're sure. There's like 25 belts. It would be all of them.
This would be unification of the ones that are considered real. You know?
So there's like an intercontinental belt, a U.S. belt, a 24/7 belt.
Something like that. Alexander Usyk, big win over Anthony Joshua. Now we get to see if Tyson Fury is indeed playing head games. It's Foreigner.
Why are you telling me? I know Foreigner.
You and me, baby. Let's take a break. Come back here in just a minute, and it is time for our college football kickoff fiesta. We're making predictions. We're taking your thoughts. We're going to tell you who our playoff teams are, maybe. We'll see. I didn't warn Lonzo about any of this, by the way. Not any of this.
It's all right. I'm used to it. I used to work on another show.
And it's more fun when it's spontaneous, you know? We'll talk college football when we come back. Rob Lonzo, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate, y'all. the way, I yell a lot. I apologize.
Oh, you're good. That's personality.
Keep you on your toes, man. Keep everybody awake.
We have to play some different music on this show than other shows because we're streaming, and this way we can play the music on the stream.
Leon freaking Edwards. We're coming to that very briefly, too. That was, whoo. Because Leon was beat till he put up.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Seb. Good morning, Josh. Good morning, lad. I don't know, Mason. I think he's a little down right now. I do not believe he's got the same kind of energy that he normally does. And it's just week 1 or 0 after that, and he's got a long year of stuff to do. So we may have to pep him up a little bit. I don't know. Not that I want him being his usual loud self, because he's usually really loud. And that's not just here, it's like everywhere. Do not take him along if you want to like slip into a place unnoticed. It does not happen.
Mark, this has really grown.
Yeah, 7 stations now.
Lad, welcome in, buddy.
Yeah.
Mason, good to have you. Thank you very much,
They're
man.
talking about energy. I don't see it.
I do. It's right here.
I'm pacing myself because I'm here 11 hours today.
That'll be me tomorrow, Wednesday. I may be able to do Thursday. But I won't know that until this afternoon. I've got a meeting with
We can also split a little too. I mean, I'm glad you said that. I need to send an email. I just got logged out. Lovely. Hi.
After the beep, enter the digits you see on the screen, followed by the hash sign. Thank you. Goodbye.
how we feel about She-Hulk.
I like it. It was funny. I understand the complaints on both sides, and to the point where one side's trying to bump it up and another side's trying to bring it down. But it's comedy. That's what it's supposed to be.
I liked it. And it made me laugh.
Well,
So
people are upset. Some people are upset because she appears to be stronger than Hulk.
I didn't get that. I got that they were on level footing.
Yeah, when they fought each other.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah. But here's why she's not stronger than Hulk, because this is Smart Hulk.
Yeah.
She doesn't stand a chance against Hulk.
Full rage Hulk.
Yeah. She
Hulk
does.
in charge Hulk.
I am looking forward to see what what all the guests are like. And
I said it was good, solid B+. I agree with the B+.
It's also first episode, so it's
Yeah.
going to take a while to build things. It's basically an origin episode.
Torian, welcome in, buddy. Good to have you, pal. Appreciate you coming by. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think everybody thought Leon was going down, right? Like that fight was over at that point. Who was it? Cormier said, "I was writing his eulogy," and then bow.
And I didn't buy it. I'm still disappointed now that I didn't. Although Usman's not the guy that I want to see lose. I do want to see John Jones lose, and supposedly, I think it's October he might be fighting, and it's probably going to be Stipe. I definitely will buy that.
Uh-oh. Dr. Pepper has released its first Fansville commercial, and quarterback Bryce Young is the star, not DJ. DJ got his job took even in Fansville.
Was it? How long of a contract did he sign with Dr. Pepper?
Actually don't know.
Is that by season?
That's a great question.
Lad, some people are upset about Daredevil's appearance because they're afraid he's going to be watered down and won't be as edgy as he was on Netflix. Yeah, fourth wall, Josh. I loved how that happened. Anytime that's done on anything like Wayne's World or anything like that.
If it's done well.
Right.
Just breaking it for the sake of breaking it isn't it. But I genuinely felt like her being like, let me tell you the story so you can enjoy this little lawyer show was a great line. Like, you're setting the expectations. I thought it was fantastic. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate. Rob, the great one, Lonzo, and you be a part of the show. 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. I was scrolling the Twitter device during the break. Dr. Pepper's first Fansville commercial is out, and DJ done lost his job. The first Fansville commercial of the year for Dr. Pepper features Alabama quarterback Bryce Young. They also brought back the Boz as the sheriff. How long did it take you to realize the sheriff was the Boz?
A couple seasons.
Yeah.
Because I kept looking at him, I was like, man, he looks familiar. Because he resembles another actor that's in a lot of things. And then it's like, no, that's not. There's no way that's him. And then I looked it up like, really? Okay.
Apparently, they also have Joe Theismann involved. Joe Theismann has been added to the cast. I'm glad Joe Theismann finally got his name, image, and likeness contract settled, you know? Joe Theismann deserved it. Anyway, the Boz is back. DJ Uiagalelei was tapped earlier this month to be the first current student athlete featured in the Fansville campaign. But the first one that dropped has Bryce Young in it from what's being reported. We'll see if DJ makes his appearance. I think DJ is going to have to prove it on the field first.
Well, there are two universities represented in Fanville. You know, some root for one, some root for another, and maybe one's on one side and one's on the other. Could be.
Down for it in like a kayfabe Fansville rivalry between DJ and Bryce.
Last year, they even addressed the transfer portal. Remember, there's an actual portal, and the guy jumps through, and it was a kicker.
Yeah.
And then they're like, go back until he grabbed the Dr. Pepper, and they're like, welcome to, yeah. So,
speaking of Clemson, speaking of DJ Uiagalelei, I think we've talked about it a little bit, not as much as we probably should. Lonzo, Clemson's a running team this year. I'm putting that one on the record.
Clemson's been a running team a lot of years.
Clemson is a running team this year. Not like we run a bunch to set up the pass. I mean, we run to set up more runs this year.
Shipley has to stay healthy, though.
I agree. But they got Kobe Pace. They got Phil Maffa. Clemson may have the best running back stable in the country, and I mean that.
I think a lot of football teams get this label put on them that they're a running team or a passing team when the best teams have a good mix of both, and Clemson has had that. Even when when Trevor Lawrence was there, ATM was there and was tearing it up. He just didn't get all the publicity because he didn't have the hair.
It is a determining factor.
Without a doubt.
Which
is why people see me more than they see you when they're looking at the stream right now.
I don't blame them.
I
don't blame them. Shipley is first team preseason all ACC. I'm taking my hat off because the 90s cut has made its way back unintentionally, Alonzo. You see that?
Didn't he used to be on Home Improvement?
No, I used to be on Beverly Hills 90210, man. The 90s haircut's back. It's unintentional. Anyway, Will Shipley is preseason All-ACC, and he should be. Missed 3 games last year as a freshman, but put up 738 and 11 TDs. Kobe Pace averaged 6.2 yards per carry last year, 641 total as a sophomore. Boston College got they lunch 8 by Kobe Pace, 18 for a $125, and he gashed Wake Forest for 191. That would be ACC championship game participant Wake Forest that he gashed for 191. Maffa has been held back, had to burn a redshirt freshman season because of injuries to the other two. 171 in his 4 games after he came off the redshirt, averaging just a touch shy of 6 per carry. Pace and Maffa combined for 10 rushing touchdowns. When asked what this backfield is built to do, Kobe Pace said, quote, "We all bring something different, but at the same time, we can all do the same things. We can all run past you. We can all run over you. We can all make you miss in space." Will Shipley said, "When you talk about me, Kobe, and Phil, it's a special, special group. We're holding each other to a standard. We love each other, but we're also competing out there. Not necessarily competing against each other, but competing for each other." I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, Clemson's going to be a run-first team. They're going to be a run-second team. They're going to be a run-third team. And then they're going to be like, if we need to pass, we can team.
So,
which I like because it takes the pressure off of DJ.
Well,
Let DJ throw when the throws will work as opposed to making them work.
So that's the thing. That's going to be the criticism, that they're doing that because DJ can't throw the ball the way the quarterbacks of the past did. But you take advantage of what you do well, and if you got a running backs room like that, you got to take advantage of that, and it will take pressure off of him. But it will make some people mad if they come out, they become a running team, and they start winning games. Then they won't get what they want, and DJ will still be the quarterback.
Does it matter if you're winning?
It does to a certain portion, like most of the fan base of that particular team. Yes.
CJ Spiller said, quote, "We have three great guys and only one can run out there. All those guys understand that. It's a great, healthy competition in there. All those guys prepare as if they are the one that's going to run out there first. It's a violent game. You're always one play away from being the starter. It's one thing to have depth, but if guys aren't prepared, it means nothing." When asked about the 3-headed monster in the backfield, Dabo Swinney said, quote, "Somebody will get hot, I'm sure. We've got 3 really special players. It's a good situation. All 3 of those guys will make huge plays for the Tigers this year," end quote.
They can have them all out there at once. They could run like what, the wishbone? They could do that.
I mean, how about a quarterback? How about a wildcat? And also with potential all ACCers on either side of them. Good luck. I'm not saying the Wildcats should be the formation. I'm saying I'd be tempted to throw it at you every now and then. Yeah, bring all 11 up to the line. Because we got 3 different guys that can go boss mode on you. I like this. Clemson should be calling about 80% run plays this year. Sincerely. It should be about 80% run plays. You have got 3 very good running backs and a quarterback who's going to be at his best if you can take the pressure off of him. And if you can take the pressure off of him with the run game to the point that you are having defensively to overcommit to the run in order to make it work, right? If you can play in a way that makes defenses overcommit to the run, DJ Uiagalelei's job gets dramatically easier. 80% runs for Dabo in the game this year. That should be the mix. I know Clemson traditionally, historically, is a balanced team. And I respect that. I like that. They've always had a good balance of play call. But not this year. Until and unless, for the record, until and unless DJ does open up. I have told you a bunch of times that I genuinely want for DJ to succeed this year. I do. I was impressed by the mentality. I was impressed by the aggression that he showed this offseason. I was impressed by the shape he got himself in. I was impressed by the confidence he has. There's a lot of guys that could have come in and just devolved into coach speak, player speak, because they had what they called a disappointing year last year, right? A lot of guys could have come in and just been like, oh, you know, I was disappointed last year, but I'm going to work hard this year, and I'm going to practice this year, and I'm going to blah, 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 blah. DJ didn't do that. Came in and is like, yeah, I was not good last year. I was disappointing last year. I was disappointed in myself. I disappointed the team, and I got a lot I got to get fixed. And he came in, and it looks like he's not just walking the walk, but talking the talk. He's in better shape. You know, we told you a couple of times. It very much looked like DJ had dropped 15, 20 pounds. And we had Don Munson, the voice of the Tigers, on. Don said DJ dropped about 30 to 35 pounds. He put in the work. So I want him to succeed. I want to see him get better. But I also know you've got to coach to the weakness, right? How do you make your strength or how do you make your weakness your strength? In this case, run the ball. Run the hell out of the ball. Feed the beast, man. Feed the beast. Let the three guys go. Let them rotate in and out. 2 runs, you're out. 2 runs, you're out. 2 runs, you're out. So you have consistently got fresh legs in the backfield. Make defenses sell all out on the run and open up the floor for DJ. 80% run this year for Clemson. That's what the mix needs to be. I'm dead serious. And the beautiful thing, though, is you don't have to commit to anyone's style of run, right? Like a lot of times when you hear a team's 80% run, you think, what? Power run. That's a power run team, right?
I think old Big Ten.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. 3-4 yards in a cloud of dust. You think power run team when you say we want to say this is a running team. You think the old Steelers days, blue collar lunch pail kind of run. You don't have to commit to that if you're Clemson. You got 3 different guys that can run 3 different styles of football. Will Shipley can do anything you need him to, anything you want him to, right? Maffa and Pace, you want them inside, you want them outside, it doesn't matter. They can do it. Take advantage of that. Make that strength the primary strength and let that strength open up the weakness, which is the pass game, until DJ shows he's got it. And if you go out there and through 2 or 3 games, DJ's averaging, 275 and a pair of touches a game through the air, then you can pull that back a little bit. Now you can open the offense up a little bit more. But until he does, 80% run plays. Just wear them down week in and week out. It's that simple to me. It really is. Clemson fans, I'll take your thoughts. Am I right? Am I wrong? Do you want to be a heavy run team because you've got that talent or not? 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. You can text us on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. We will read them on the air. Let's take a break. Come back. Wrap up hour number 1. It's just that kind of day, kids. We're going to have some fun today. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Keegan said we had to bring in security. He does look like a security guard over there in the corner. I like it. Good day, sir. In my car. I have it. Okay. I will have to 10,000% make sure I don't forget to get it back before Friday.
Yeah.
Do you need me to run and grab it real quick?
No, actually, I think I may have another. I'll let you know.
I'll be right here. Punt gods all over the league.
Well, he's in now. That solidifies. You saw what I sent you, right? Mm-hmm. That solidifies he's got the job. Still should have kept it out of the end zone. Yes, Keegan. Yes, he is. That describes him perfectly. He is. Yeah, he absolutely is. A little fella. That's him.
Wow.
I'll make sure I pass that along to him later. And Trey, you're probably right. That's probably what it's going to take for him to name. Come on, Baker's a starter. I don't know why he's waiting this long for this, unless they're just trying to secretly behind the scenes move Sam Darnold. Rob went looking for the little fella, couldn't find him.
Well, I mean, I may have walked right over him.
You could have. You could have. If you're going straight up eye level while you're walking, could pass him right by. He makes up for his height with how loud he is, though.
Correct. He is the only person in the building, I think, consistently as loud as I am. Consistently.
I would like, those meters that they use to measure crowd noise? I'd like to have you two guys, let's have a DB thing and see who has the most DBs.
I'm going to go me.
I'm going to go you two. A lot of his has to do with being loud because people don't notice him, so it makes him extra loud.
I'm just annoying.
He can walk in a room and you won't notice. Rob can't do that, so there's that. Did you see Mahomes' sidearm pass this
No,
weekend?
they have another one?
Yeah, this one was pretty good. They also were showing, last week, him throwing this way and hitting a target.
Yeah.
It was he threw this way across his body and hit somebody. 2 series, 2 touchdowns.
Madden 23 has Baker rated as a 77 and Darnold as a 71. As soon as Matt Rule gets a copy of the game, he can auto-select the rosters and officially name Baker the starter in real life.
That would be a good move, but, where's Jimmy G going? I heard Keyshawn today saying that Jacoby Brissett was better. And
Garoppolo?
Yeah, and the guest host, I forget her name, asked him if Brissett was also one of his nephews. He did not take that well. He did. He looked like he was physical, like he was struck across the face. It was.
I love Matt Rule not announcing a starting quarterback.
You're like the only one who loves that.
I see what I did here, Lonzo. I forgot to push the turn on sarcasm button before I said that sentence. That's on me. That's my bad.
Yeah, it's always flashing on my side. You need to point it out when you're doing
Let
it.
me try that again. I love that Matt Rule has not yet announced a starter at quarterback. I love that he hasn't done it. Here's the thing. Don't give me that it's still a competition. Name the starter. Let your guys accept it. Let your guys roll with it. Let your guys handle it and get used to it, right? And don't tell me that Baker's not the starter. If you did not have the starter, if this was still an open QB competition, why did neither of them play against New England, right? What is the... I actually understood going into week 1 why you hadn't named a starter. I actually got it. I understood it. You wanted to see the best that Sam would give you. You wanted to see the fire in Baker Mayfield. You wanted to see which one of those two guys the team reacted to, which one of those two guys the team accepted as the leader. I got it. And all the practice in the world cannot replicate football, right? We talked with our guy Tim Frisbee last week. When Tim was like, NFL preseason football's a scam, right? These guys could just do scrimmages. I disagree with Tim on that one. I disagree with Tim. Nothing can replicate game day football, right? Nothing. Nothing can replicate trotting out on the field with the music and the smokes and the firework and the flames and the fans and the sounds and the smells and the sights of game day. And even if it's a half-aid game day, like a preseason game, and not a 70, 80, 90, 100,000 strong attendance like a regular game day, it is still closer than what you can get on a practice field with a couple of hundred fans standing around yelling "Baker" at him. It's a game environment. So I got why you maybe wanted to let those guys go out and experience a game environment and then see who reacted better, who handled it better, whose leadership kicked in. Which guy under center led the team better? I understand that. But why now? Right? Like, why now? Why are we doing this now if you're not playing those guys in a preseason game? Why did you not have Baker and Sam go out and give us one more? The answer is because you know who the starter is. So just say it, man. Does it bug you, Lonzo? I'm sitting here, I'm saying all this, and I'm saying it out loud, and I'm listening to myself, and I'm thinking through this, and I'm like, it doesn't really bother me all that much. It doesn't really bother me all that much, but on the other hand, it really does. It kind of bugs me that you won't let these guys know who to expect, who should expect on September 11th. To come out of the tunnel hype.
I think the part that bothers me the most as a Panther fan is you want to see whoever the starter is get more time in practice, not have to split reps and all that kind of stuff to develop more, if in case it's Baker, which we believe it's going to be, develop more rapport with his receivers and get used to the offense, the new line, all that kind of stuff. And he's not getting to do that, supposedly. We're not in practice. So in practice, if the practices are closed, I believe they might be at this point, maybe Baker is getting more reps than Sam Darnold. And maybe this is a game that Matt Rule is just playing with the media.
I mean, what's like...
You're trying to figure out what the advantage is.
Yeah, what's the point of the game?
All right, here's the point of the game. You're trolling the media.
Right, but for what?
Which has happened more and more with coaches and owners and players starting to troll the media more because there's such a push to be able to report it first that you can just throw stuff out there.
I mean, that's fine, right? But again, I'm going to be like a toddler here and just ask the next question, why? What's the benefit, right? I think one thing that gets lost up in that mindset And I understand it. But I think one thing that gets lost in that mindset is while I understand wanting to bleep with the media a little bit, the media is also a liaison to your fans. You know, the people that ultimately have some level of control over your job. And Carolina fans want to know who the starting quarterback is, right? Like, is it going to impact anything if Rob Brown and Lonzo, noted Carolina Panthers fans, know that it's Baker or know that it's Sam? Not really, right? And maybe he's trying to hide it from Cleveland as long as possible, right? Maybe he's trying to hide it from Cleveland so that they don't know who to prep for. Do we prep for Bake? Do we prep for Sam? But they know the answer, and we know the answer. Why not just say it? Why not just say it? Let everybody move on to focus on other stuff. Let everybody, and again, I know it's not even a huge deal, yeah? Like, it's not a huge deal, but I kind of want to know.
If they both had played this past week against New England, I would say he was doing it to showcase Sam Darnold so they can try to move him. But neither one of them played.
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of what triggered this for me. I guess the other aspect of this would be, wouldn't it be better for Matt Rule? Because I got to tell you, the only thing that this does, Lonzo, to me, is make Matt Rule look indecisive, right? The only thing it does is make Matt Rule look indecisive. Like, he can't make the decision as to who the guy is. Now, one thing that's always bugged me, honestly, a lot in politics, but really in everything, is when people are considering options, gathering information, putting together a hypothesis to figure out what the correct response to something is, people go, oh, you're indecisive. Well, I don't have all the data, right? I don't have all the information to make a guess, to make a decision. I get that it comes across as indecisive, but I don't have all the research to make the best possible decision. But we've seen these guys for a month and a half. We've seen them. We've seen them through shorts and shirts. We've seen them through full gear practice, and we've seen them through preseason games now. Now it's gone from, okay, do you not have the data or are you just not using it? Because I think anybody who's watched more than a handful of minutes of this knows that Bake is the guy. Make the decision. Stop making yourself look indecisive. That's been half the problem so far, Matt. And fix it. One preseason game left. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. I'm Rob Brown. The great man Lonzo is at the helm. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. 2 hours left. That's all next on the Fan Upstate. All right, you sent me a Fortnite ad, so this better be something good.
It is. You know I don't like Fortnite either. Is he suited up yet?
Nope. He just looked at a weird anime cat statue. Now he's So you can play Fortnite as Patrick Mahomes, but as like a tech gladiator warrior.
Why I sent it to you was him in the real world with the stuff on.
It was cool.
Looks really cool. I don't care about the game, just the real world look.
You know how you would sell me on that game more? If instead of guns and axes, you played Mahomes and you gave him a bionic arm and his weapon was actually a football, right? Like he could spawn a football.
It should be.
That would actually make me try that game, to be honest.
You don't want to try the game. It's
I
horrible.
really don't.
So all of your commercials are on here, and then you load them to that side. That's your program log.
Hold on just a second. We got to time this out to the top, and for some reason my mathing is not working right now.
Well, keep track of.
It is and it isn't. It runs like any other show, except for on this station there are 3 breaks instead of 4, like a normal format would be, and we have to start right at the top of the hour. So you got to time in the last break. All this stuff right here are just ins, outs, and some opens and things, and this is the music.
Okay.
The thing is set up, except for you've got to put the ins and outs in, which I've already done.
Right.
But the hardest part is actually doing the math. When I just don't feel like doing math.
Back timing.
Yeah. And then if it's not going to time out right, you got to put in a promo and a liner or whatever to make it time out. They don't care as much in the in between hours. The most important one is leading into automation to make sure it times out there.
Yeah.
But we're also recording the podcast. I have to upload the podcast.
That's like a best of.
This is actually the show in podcast form
Oh, okay.
because some people listen to the podcast later.
Yeah.
But you got to make sure it's set up where none of the music or anything gets on the podcast
Wow.
because of copyrights and all that stuff. And we've also just started a new thing, which is chapters, and you got to put in what's going. So there's a rewind feature on the app where you can go in and rewind the show even though it's going on, and you can look and see what was talked about in each chapter, and then see if it interests you. We've been having trouble with this. I hope this works.
Bryce Young in the commercial represents the Fansville Foam Finger Warehouse. That's his character.
Okay. Problem is now, though, I mean, talking about getting rid of Darnold, do you want to get rid of Darnold with Matt Corral getting hurt? You saw that. Corral's out for the season. So, I mean, P.J. Walker is a good backup, but do you want him as your second?
Hooters just signed 51 NCAA offensive linemen to NIL deals.
Way to go.
Get that chicken wang money, baby. Including the entire starting offensive lines at Oklahoma and Missouri. Going Heartland chicken wings. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hour numero dos of the Rob Brown Show. This is the fan upstate. Rob, Lonzo, you. Be a part of the show. 844-FAN phone, 844-326-3663. 844-FAN phone. You can text us on the Preferred Home Services text line, 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and we'll read them on the air. Text says, Rob, Bryce Young signed a NIL deal with Dr. Pepper and will be in Fansville commercials. Will he fall to the Dr. Pepper curse that DJ did? I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't call it a curse with DJ because he got that Dr. Pepper money before he showed out, right? Bryce, on the other hand, you may have heard of him, has a Heisman Trophy already, right?
Also, how's it a curse? I mean, it wasn't like he won 2 games and lost his job.
Yeah. Again, he had not even really been a starter yet. I can't call it a curse. DJ may just not be good. I don't think that's the case. Do I think DJ's going to go down in the annals? Do I think he's going to be mixed in with Trevor, with Kelly, with Deshaun? No, I don't think so. But I don't think he's bad. I've given that speech a number of times. Tom Brady's back with the Buccaneers. Lonzo elated. Just the deepest sigh of relief this AM when it was reported that Brady is no longer missing.
I mean, is he back? He's actually in the building.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's back with the team.
Oh, great.
And is expected to be at practice today.
His excused absence, which was, you know what? I just don't want to be there. And they're like, okay, we'll make excuses till you get back. The family issue was he just didn't want to be there. That was his issue.
You know what the rumor is right now? The rumor going around is that Tom Brady was filming The Masked Singer. Masked Singer. That's a hard word for me. Masked Singer.
Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that in a while, but to see him lose, I might actually do that. And do you ever look at someone and go, I wonder if they can sing? Because I've never looked at Tom Brady and thought that. Hopefully he's drunk like he was with the trophy inside of whatever costume he's wearing, and he's drunk singing.
All I'm going to say is that if a giant goat holding a bottle of avocado tequila comes out, spoiler alert, it's Tom Brady.
They would not put him in a goat outfit. That would be way too obvious.
Way too on the nose.
For some people.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I watched like the first 2 seasons of Masked Singer. And honestly, it was relatively entertaining.
Same here. It was fun to guess. I was watching with my family. Me and my daughter real competitive about trying to figure out who it was. I picked Donny Osmond, by the way. I just knew that. People forget about how talented Donny Osmond is because some people don't know who he is because he's old. But, there's that.
I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons when it debuted. They're going into season 8 now. I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons with the Madre down in Florida. I watched, I think not this last season, but the season before that. The lady friend and I went back for the same reason. Not because we're like, oh, we love celebrities singing while wearing giant mouse heads, but because it becomes a detective game, right? It becomes a mystery game.
And you go online, you see all these guesses that other people have, and you're like, that's not who that is. That can't be.
Yeah. But I'll tell you exactly the moment I dropped out. The exact moment I dropped out was the Terry Bradshaw unveiling. Now, I love Terry Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw
unabashedly
had some successful country albums.
Did he really? Is that true?
You really didn't know that he had country albums?
I don't know that.
He had full-on country albums.
Really?
Yes, he did.
Well, then maybe I'm back in. Because when Bradshaw was on, they had him singing country music, and he had like that classic country voice, right? Almost heaven, West Virginia. And then they showed Bradshaw.
Where's your twang, man? There's no twang in what you just did.
Almost heaven,
There we
West
go.
Virginia.
There we go.
That's not how the song goes. Anyway, they reveal Bradshaw, and I'm like, nope, I'm out. I'm out, right? Because, I think a part of the fun is them actually singing, right? That's what hooked me in the early part, because I think in the early part, they actually were singing, and so I was in for it. And then very clearly, they started having artists, singers, sing in place of them because Bradshaw took the mask off. What was he, like an alien or something? And he took the mask off, and then they had him sing the goodbye song, and it was not the same dude. I was like, all right, I'm out.
All right, here's what I believe they do. I believe they actually sing and record the song, and I think they do the Milli Vanilli thing, and I think because you don't have to lip sync if you're inside of a.
That's true.
You're really basically worried about your dancing.
Blame it on the, blame it on the, blame it on the, blame it on the, blame it on the.
It's like the remix. Yeah.
Maybe I'll get back in for the season. Maybe I'll check back in. But the speculation is that Tom Brady took time away from preseason football to go film The Masked Singer and will be unveiled at some point in this season, which, I'm like halfway in. I'm like halfway in.
I don't buy it. I think people are just trying to make excuses for him. Although he disappeared and did not show up in public anywhere during that time.
Right. And here's the other part.
But he can walk from one end to his house to the other end of his house, and it might take 2 weeks.
This is why there's a part of me that thinks that is what he was doing, right? The part of me that thinks that's why he's doing is Tom Brady is if he's not America's most recognizable athlete, he's only behind LeBron, right? Like, is there anybody more recognizable in athletics than Braun or Tommy Terrific?
At least LeBron doesn't have a butt chin like Tom Brady does.
It's called a chin dimple, and it's considered highly attractive, Lonzo.
It's a booty chin.
Booty chin. Now I want to go see Carolina hosting Tampa just to hear Lonzo chant booty chin at Tom Brady for 4 quarters. That might be the game we put in ticket request for.
It's a booty chin. I don't know. I was trying to figure out how to do the
booty chin.
Yeah, it doesn't work though. It has to be like 4 syllables. If you notice, chants have to have a certain amount of syllables for it to work because there are a lot of people in the crowd. It's a struggle, so it has to be as simple as possible.
I believe it because I can't imagine Tom Brady went MIA, right? Tom Brady went MIA for a number of weeks. While he was MIA, the Bucs didn't know where their $250 million quarterback was. Stop it. Todd Bowles, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. And, oh, by the way, your quarterback. And he's now missed 2 preseason games. And we want to know where he is. Oh, I don't know, guys. Yeah, you do. Tom Brady set a contract for the Masked Singer that says nobody, including his team, can tell anybody else where he is. Right? Because can we be real? Even if it's Tom Brady, how much more angry is Todd Bowles if QB1's just not showing up?
No, Todd Bowles should not be angry at all because Todd Bowles is there because Tom Brady.
Because Tom Brady's there?
Because Tom Brady wanted a certain other coach out of there. And that's why Todd Bowles is there, because Brady wanted him there. Brady left, coach leaves, Todd Bowles is there, and suddenly Brady's back. So, I mean, all of this could be coincidence. I don't think so, though.
Yeah, Texter says the other rumor is he's splitting up with Giselle and went to handle some issues with his lawyers. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, maybe. But I'm so much more on the Masked Singer bandwagon. Here's what I will say. As somebody who loves Tom Brady, right? I've told you guys I love Tom Brady. I do. Unabashedly. Come at me, bro. I love Tom Brady.
I will and shall forever.
Abash?
No, come at you.
There will be much abashing. I love Tom Brady. That being said, in fact, on Saturday, I was talking with a lady friend about this, right? I was talking with the lady friend about this because it came up on whatever sports show I happened to be listening to. And she's like, wait, so people don't know where he is? I'm like, yeah. But the popular theory is he's off filming The Masked Singer. She's like, oh, well, I guess we got to watch the season. Yeah. She goes, so he just didn't show up? I'm like, yeah, that's what the Bucs are saying. But, like, it would make sense that Brady called Bowles and Bruce and was like, hey, look, I got this gig. I'm going to be on The Masked Singer. It's fun. It's goofy. I'm getting a little extra cheddar for it. Trying to keep Mama Giselle happy by actually carrying my own weight in this one-sided financial relationship. But you guys can't tell anybody where I am. And the Bucs are like, all right, cool. You're Tom Brady, right? The question is, could Jameis Winston get away with that? Could Baker get away with that? Could anybody except Tom Brady get away with that? Could Patrick Mahomes get away with that?
Maybe.
I don't think so.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers might be able to get away with it. But
A-Rod could get away with it.
He's overly scrutinized, though. Boy, people would crucify him if
which
he
would make
did
him
something
want to
like
do
that.
it more, I think.
Yeah, which is awesome. I don't believe he did it. Here's what I believe. I believe the people at Masked Singer put it out there. They're the ones that started the rumor
I mean, it's a huge PR move if
to get more people to watch
Yeah.
and then be all disappointed that it wasn't
Because
him.
now you've got Rob Brown, like, gotta watch this episode of The Masked
well,
Singer.
that one's got to be Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Well, that one's got to be Tom Brady.
You know they are bringing out a GOAT. It's just not going to be Brady. They're going to dress Brady up as literally something else. I don't know. I was trying to think of something funny.
Keegan is right. It absolutely is a work, Keegan.
It's always work. I am 100% buying in to Brady was off filming The Masked Singer. I haven't watched the last season or two, but I'm back in because I want to see the GOAT unveiled. And that way we all can all know the Bucs were in on it. The Bucs were willing to lie to the media to cover up for Tom Brady doing a celebrity voice singing show. It's ridiculous and I love it. It's amazing. Texas said, fan, apparently Masked Singer goes to crazy extents to keep their identity secret. They dress them in all black with hoods and masks and everything. It's wild. Yeah, I've heard that. Like, they take it very seriously. But you have to, right? If one person leaks out, you've lost justification for watching an episode. And if you've got the GOAT NFL player, the GOAT of GOATs, you can't let that leak out. Up to and including having the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sign an NDA. Question is, honestly, what do the Bucs get out of this? The only thing the Bucs get out of this is Tom Brady's happy, right? Tom Brady's happy, and he won't jump teams one more time before his career's over. That's really all you got. Tom Brady's happy, and he won't jump teams one more time and bail on you. You got one more crack at least at another Lombardi. What do the Bucs get out of it? I mean, on one hand, Lonzo, Tom Brady doesn't need the preseason. He's Tom Brady. He's fine. But on the other hand, Tom Brady's team needs the preseason. And in order to be Tom Brady's team, Tom Brady's got to be there. It is dumb that of everything that has happened in Tom Brady's entire career, the first time that I have been genuinely upset with Tom Brady is for bailing on 2 preseason games to likely go perform on The Masked Singer. It's the first time I'm like, Tom, really, dude? Really?
All right, so you're saying that he doesn't need the preseason. How do you know that? How many times has he skipped the preseason other than being suspended? And how many times has he done that?
It's not so much a he's done it and been fine as a he's Tom Brady. Like, that is my justification. He's Tom Brady. He got rings on rings on rings.
You know, good for him. I am hoping that he's regretting his decision to come back from retirement, and I hope this is the worst season he's ever had in his entire life.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for Tom.
I hope we're able to say at the end of the year, wow, the Bucs are in last place in the NFC South, and it's because Tom Brady wasn't there for 2 weeks.
Well, Marcus Mariota's got a thing or two to say about that. I don't know, man. I find it's amusing to me that the first time in the career of Brady, A career where he has seemed to make everybody hate him. The first time that I'm like, no, Tom, not all right, is that he skipped a pair of preseason games to go sing on a celebrity guessing contest. Fantastic. Football's so weird, man. It's so dumb and it's so weird, and I love it. Let's take a break. What is Tom Brady going to be dressed as? Do you dress him as the GOAT? Do you dress him as a GOAT because it's so on the nose that people won't guess it, right? They'll be like, nah, it's too obvious. It's too obvious that it's Tom Brady.
Dress him as a big peach head. I think we know why.
Booty chin. Rob, Lonzo, you. The Rob Brown Show rolls on after this. It is the Fan Upstate. The stream is open for you. Go to facebook.com/thefanupstate or go to YouTube, search and subscribe to The Rob Brown Show. You can watch all 3 hours of the show, go behind the scenes with Lonzo and I, have conversations, ask us questions off the air. We have a lot of fun with that. You will too. Go to facebook.com/thefanupstate or search and subscribe to The Rob Brown Show, and you can watch all 3 hours behind the scenes with the great one and me. Are you, do you get into the Little League World Series at all? We got it on here at the studio.
I've been to the Little League softball series before. My daughter went to, and we had to go to Dyersburg, Tennessee. That's the longest drive in my entire life. It's like driving all the way across Tennessee to the other edge of Tennessee. So for that standpoint, I never played Little League. I'm guessing you probably did. We couldn't afford it. So, and plus baseball people.
Well, we could afford it, and our bats were made of platinum.
No wonder you can carry all those groceries up there.
When it was time for us to play a game, Lonzo, they would tear up an entire golf course, build the field, and then we were done with one game. They would tear the field back down and build the golf course back.
All right, I made an assumption. I need to apologize. I assumed that platinum's heavy. I wouldn't know. I've never actually held platinum before.
I'm in, and it's weird because I've never been into the world.
I like the fat kids, the chubby kids. Those are my favorite because they just remind me of Bad News Bears and Sandlot and just a bunch of things. Because those guys are funny. Whenever they're talking, have you noticed when they talk about their favorite player or anything? It's always the chubby kids are hilarious.
Oh yeah, one kid in the qualifiers. I didn't see the game. But the moment came across my Twitter timeline, and it absolutely hooked me. One kid from the team that is based out of Wyoming showed up. And there was a clip of him going up for his AB. And he walks into the box, and he gets the bat ready, and he tightens up his batting gloves, as every baseball player who's ever played the game does. Except for the people calling the game realized, Lonzo, that his batting gloves were leather rodeo cow riding or bull riding gloves. And then he mashes, right? I'm watching last night. I'm sitting in the man cave. I'm watching last night, and they were playing the Little League Classic. Every year, 2 MLB teams are selected to go play a game on the site of the Little League World Series in Williamsburg, Pennsylvania. And I'm watching the game last night, Red Sox Orioles, I think it was. And I'm watching the game last night, the Little League World Classic, and they're showing all these kids who are playing in the Little League World Series, and they're having like the time of their life. And they're interviewing this one kid, and I can't remember his name, but they're interviewing this one kid in the stands. And there's a home run in the game. It's an MLB home run. And the kid's like, the interviewer's like, how you like that, man? How you like seeing that? Because the kid had said, this is my first major league game, right? First MLB game is a game based around and celebrating him and his teammates. Guy goes, yad. Announcer guy goes, how do you like that dinger? And he goes, I can do that. Like, no hesitation. None. No, nothing. Just, I can do that. Guy's like, really? You think you can mash that hard? He's like, yeah, I got that. So what do you want to do with your life, right? Like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And he goes, there's not even a hesitation, Lonzo. He looks at the cat and he goes, I want to be a big league ball player. I want to be a Major League Baseball player. The guy goes like, oh, that's what you set aside? And he goes, yeah. Like, being a cashier at a grocery store or working at a bank sounds boring. I don't want to do that. I want to be a big league ball player. You're like, damn, this kid's cool, man. This kid's cool.
All right, did he say cashier or did you just, he actually said cashier. Okay, I've never heard it worded that way.
It took me a second to figure out what he was talking about.
Because it sounds like a way you would say it. So that's why I had to clarify. So he actually said that.
Yeah. He said, what do you want to do? He said, I want to be a big league ball player.
I mean, you would say it that way on purpose.
Yeah, no, 100%, because
yeah.
I mispronounce words intentionally for the sake of
No,
my
to
own
make it
comedy.
sound more French.
Yeah, cashier.
There we go.
Said, I don't want to work at a grocery store or a bank. That sounds boring. I want to be a big league ball player. Guy rakes a dinger, and he's like, yeah, I can do that.
Hey, Rob, is working at a bank boring?
Yeah, it's the worst.
Okay.
It's absolutely the worst. It really is. I've worked at 2 different banks for a span of about 2 years, and it's the worst. Number one, it really puts into perspective just how much money you don't have and never will. And number two, while like the average everyday dude coming in to cash his paycheck is all right, dudes with money, when they come in, they don't give a good gosh darn about you or anybody else. They are there to make sure that their money is good and nothing else. And don't you dare stand between them and that. Hey, Mr. Johnson, welcome back. How's my IRA, son? Is my rate down, boy? Like, all right, man. Hang on. I'll let me check that for you. Yeah, I don't have all day. Give me that money. Working in a bank is the worst. So this kid going, I don't want to be a cashier. I don't want to work at a shopping mart. I don't want to work in a bank. That all sounds terrible. I want to be a big league ball player. That kid, I was like, dude, I got to watch the Little League World Series, don't I? These kids are hilarious. These kids are fantastic. There was one kid like 2 or 3 years ago, speaking of the little fat kids, who I adore, by the way. That's not a shot. I'm also a little fat kid. I love them, right? There was one a couple of years back where they do like the introductions, right? They're like playing third base. Here's 12-year-old Nolan Smith. The kid comes up and he's like, hey, my name's Nolan. I'm 12 years old. My favorite player is Bryce Harper. And then they give like a random fact about themselves. And this kid comes on. Stone-faced killer. He comes on. He's like, yeah, my name's so-and-so. I'm from here. And all I do is hit dingers. I'm like, hell yeah, son. Let's go. I wish that I had the confidence of some of these kids in the Little League World Series, man. Life has jaded me and turned me into a cynic. There was one kid like 2 or 3 years ago.
Life or radio?
Yes. There was one kid like 2 or 3 years ago, and he's like, yeah, I'm so-and-so, and my favorite player is Manny Machado, and my favorite things are dingers and donuts. I'm like, yes! Yes, young man! My favorite things are also dingers and donuts. Are you kidding me? One kid a couple of years ago, they're going through and they're like, tell us an interesting fact about yourself, right? Give us an interesting fact about yourself. And this kid goes, my name's so-and-so. I'm from Newport, Iowa, and I can eat a whole large pizza by myself. Like, yes! You kidding me? This kid's my spirit animal, man. Dude is out here in what could possibly be the biggest moment of his life. They're like, hey, man, you're on national TV. Give us the coolest random trivia fact about you. And his first thought, no hesitation, didn't need a second to rack it in the brain. First thought was, I can eat a whole large pizza by myself. Like it was the proudest moment of his life. Like when he's 50 and he's sitting down with the grandkids and they're like, Granddad, what was the proudest moment of your life? Was it when you met Grandma? Was it the day when our mom was born? And he's like, no, kids. I was on ESPN when I was your age. And I told the world I could knock back an entire Papa John's large solo. Proudest day of my life. I'll never top that. Grandpa, you have 9 kids that are playing in the College World Series or Little League World Series. Yeah. Remember, when they ask you what your hidden talent is, make sure you drop something great. Because I told the world I can cram an entire Papa John's large down my gullet solo as an 8-year-old. Absolutely love it. Baseball is the best, man. And I think it's the best because except for Lonzo, it's the universal sport, man. Like, if we took a straw poll right now, in fact, let's do it on Twitter. I'll make it real easy for you. I just need a one-word response unless you want to elaborate. Did you play Little League ball? Yes or no? 71307 is the number. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. All you need to text in is FAN yes or FAN no. Did you play Little League ball when you were a kid? Y'all in the chat on the stream, give me your answer. If you're on Twitter, you can tweet me your answer. Did you play Little League ball is the best. I think it's because A, it's universal. Like the overwhelming majority of us played this sport at this age, so you can kind of recall the memory. You can bring those memories back. But second off, like I get so tired of professional athletes when they're doing the interviews being so damn robotic. Well, we're just going to go out there and we put in a lot of practice this off season, and I knew the things I had to work on, so I had to do this, and I put in the work to do that. No. I want to know, can you polish off a large Papa John's by yourself? Can you do it? Because I can.
So playing softball in Cub Scouts, that doesn't count as Little League, right?
I mean, you played ball.
Because I have trophies, because we won the championship 2 years in a row.
I'd say you played ball.
And to this day, my nose is crooked because they put me behind the plate without a mask. And one of the bigger kids threw overhand and hit me square in the face. So, I mean, so I understand the game. The ball was bigger, but it's still the same thing.
5 yeses, 1 no so far. 5 yeses, 1 no. That's what I'm saying. Now, I will say I think we're moving in the direction that soccer is taking over that, right? I think more kids are playing soccer, and they're playing soccer for longer, right? Soccer kind of lost the stigma. Soccer was what you did in my day. Soccer was what you did for a couple of years to learn the basics of like being a good teammate and communication and, grace in both defeat and success. And then you got old enough to move to baseball, t-ball, right? And now that stigma's kind of gone, so more kids are sticking around soccer now, but baseball is still our pastime. It's still a great, great, great sport. And I think, especially the further along in age you are when you ask this question to groups of people, I think for most of us, this is a relatively universal experience. Relatively.
I joke about the money thing, but I'm serious about it. There's a reason why that a lot of kids in my neighborhood didn't play. There was actually, outside the neighborhood, across the street, there was a ballpark for Little League players, and it was all the kids on that side of town who made money, and none of us could play. So the stigma for baseball, even in high school, was those were all the wimps that played. And they were all skinny, and they were all the ones, for the most part, who couldn't play football or wrestle.
Yeah, I think there's some.
Remember, I graduated from high school in '86, so it's been a while.
See, when I say Little League, I'm talking about Little League. Emphasis on the little.
No, I know, but if you develop an attitude towards something, it doesn't go away sometimes when you get older.
Texter said, I did not play Little League ball, but my 1%er son does. Thanks for texting the show, Mom. It's not my mom that texted that.
By the way, good for him. Provide what you never had to your children.
Look, I don't have kids. I don't want kids. If I did have kids or did want kids, I think putting them in Little League ball would be like one of the things I look forward to the most.
Well,
right?
I didn't have my children play. Cameron didn't want to play baseball, but he played football and he wrestled. And my daughter did want to play softball and played volleyball and played basketball. So all the things that I couldn't afford to do, or my mom couldn't afford to have me do, I made sure that they got to do.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing better than being on a team sport when you're a kid, because it teaches you so many things. It teaches you how to be on the bench, teaches you how to never get chosen, teaches you how to be ridiculed and felt lesser than, teaches you how to have a clean uniform while everybody who got to play had grass stains, all kinds of things like that. And some good stuff, too.
You know that song, You Are the Wind Beneath My Wings? Lonzo, you are the wind that's out of my sails.
By the way, my daughter went to the Little League World Series, and Cameron at one point had a record in the United States, was ranked in the United States at wins in wrestling. So I'm not saying they were like that. It's just, you know the kids. You know the ones.
12-2. Yes to no. I played Little League so far. I mean, it's like I said, it's a, I'm not going to say it's a universal experience, but it's, I'd say most of us
I haven't
did.
been by the rec league stuff in a while to see how full they are during baseball season, but you know, a few years ago it was still pretty full.
Yeah. So right now, I very much look forward to getting back to coaching Little League. I was going to be a teacher and a coach for a while, and then
Well, you ain't got nothing else to do. Why not do it now?
Yeah, right.
You got plenty of time. Why not? Look at you trying to add another job.
Anyway, we got 2 more episodes of the podcast and a Burns Friday night high school game, and I'll be filling in on Mark's show a couple of days this week.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. Any other conversations you want to derail between now and then?
You have aspirations. Well, let's say when you're 50, you want to coach some Little League. By then, you will be seasoned. You can have some pepper up in there. Get some respect from the little kids. I mean, it'll be an awesome experience for you.
Yeah, let's go. Hey, Chris. That was terrifying. Let's take a break. My heart rate is spiked, and it's not from the Red Bull. Back after this. Rob Lonzo, you. This is the Fan Upstate. Hey, buddy. There was nobody there the first time I turned around.
By the way, you're about to rip that thing off your neck, dude. You
I
got to
know, I
stop.
gotta stop. It's a bad habit.
You
What's
have
up?
to stop. I'm
I have
afraid
a-
it's going to
I
start
have a
bleeding.
blemish. And I pick. I'm a nervous picker.
Yeah.
Turns out I do need that.
Okay. Stream, I have to take a brief walk. I will be right I got to get back in shape.
I did enjoy how you struggled getting the handle up on the case. It is kind of tricky.
It is. It's like a switch, but it's like a hair switch. Like you got to have just the right amount of pressure to make it work.
And you're afraid you'll break it because it's work-related?
You remember how I said there was a text that said I did not play Little League ball, but my 1%er son did? Have a great day. And I was like, it's not my mom. It was my mom.
Oh,
So
that is awesome.
So my mom and Michael Stathakis have the same 4 digits that end the phone number in a different order, but they're very close, right? And so I thought it was Stathakis because I'm like, that's a very Stathakis smart-ass tweet. Nope, turns out it was my mother.
Trey, that would be frowned upon in this day and age.
I want to get on another softball team. I haven't played softball in a long time.
Softball, like anywhere else, is real serious around here.
Yeah.
Not like, like Braun Strowman's dad serious. So barrage the text line and other things with one asking Rob to regale everyone about how he got hair ripped off his leg because it hasn't even been mentioned yet. It's not been mentioned yet.
You see it? Right there.
That's it. I think
It's the size of my palm.
Oh,
dude.
come on. That's all what happened to Cody. That's all what happened to Cody.
I can't help it. That man's a bear. Yeah, it's yeah.
I'm guessing yours wasn't
I'm just
nearly as
not-
painful.
Yeah, because I'm not hairy. Yeah, I haven't brought that up yet, Lonzo. Good call. Did you watch it?
No, I purposefully waited because I was hoping that you would, during the break, bring it up on the stream and we could watch it that way together.
I gotta see if that. I don't know if that stream's still up because they don't like BetQL runs so many shows, and I don't think Twitch archives.
Well, how did Cody?
Shows,
How did Cody get his? I mean,
there's a. You know what? There is a clip of it.
Yeah, someone
sure
cut
is.
up a clip for him. So
There
I mean,
sure
you
is a
know,
clip of it. I'll send it to you. You can. Oh, there it is. Look at that. I'll send it to you. You can play the audio if you want. Here's what. So what happened was,
you wouldn't let this go if it was me. You'd be wanting to play this. So I mean,
No, it's fine. I accept it. I accept it. Here, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to send you both clips, and you can play them in any order that you wish. So, I've told you guys, y'all know that I host a nationally syndicated baseball gambling show that airs on Saturdays from 1 to 5. And on that show, we all make bets with each other, right? We all make bets with each other. And within those bets, we don't have punishments. We don't have like punishments financially, right? Like the bets that we make, you have there's some sort of physical punishment to it. So for instance, our intern / producer, hating ass Mario, he lost a bet and he had to do a show in the makeup of Brendan Lee's The Crow. But then he doubled down on it, lost another bet, and he had to go to the nicest steakhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana, dressed as The Crow. That actually worked out okay because he told the story to the people there and they hooked him up with like free drinks and dessert, which we thought was BS, right? Like you shouldn't be able to tell people why. That kind of takes away from the pain of it. Well, we played a 3-leg parlay challenge. Me and Cody Decker, the host, versus Hating Ass Mario and the production crew. It was a 3-leg parlay challenge. You had to make 3 bets, and if all 3 hit, you win. And if the other team does not hit all 3, they have to take a punishment. And the punishment that we decided upon was that the losing team would have to have a strip of hair waxed off of their body. Do you want to run Code's audio first to set the scene for this?
All right. Part of the problem is the length of the audio.
You can skip ahead to like where the rip comes from.
Because I'm not sure we have enough time left
Yeah.
in the hour to do this.
You can just skip ahead to where the rip happens. Cody is a bear, all right? You know what? Just save it. We'll do it coming out of the break. It's worth it. It's worth it. Cody's a bear and had to have a strip of hair waxed off his chest. I, for the first time in my life, am happy to say I'm not a very hairy man, all right? I'm very Irish. There's not a lot of body hair to yours truly. So I had to get a strip of hair waxed off. Now, I will say the trade-off is that Cody, being a Los Angeles-based actor, had a professional salon lady come to his house and waxed his chest hair. I had my sadist of a girlfriend do it.
I will say the woman stripping off Cody's hair looks like she's enjoying herself. So don't put that out there. There's a maniacal smile.
She makes a lot of money. You know what she did? She told me, you know what she did? Like she has an IMDb credit. You know what she did? She was the person responsible for the mermaid's tail in Splash with Tom Hanks.
What do you mean responsible? She made it?
And helped attach it every day. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Her and another lady put that made it and then helped what's her name get into it every day.
A lot of people in love with Daryl Hannah for a
Yeah,
while.
that's right. She's responsible for the mermaid tail from Splash. That's kind of cool. Anyway, when we come back, I'll give you the audio of both Cody Decker and I getting body hair waxed off, and I will ask the question, we paid up the bet, but was it a fair bet? Was it a fair bet? We acted with honor and integrity and allowing these 2 women to rip body hair off of us. I got a bald spot on my leg. I just showed it to Alonzo. You can see it.
It's not visible the way Cody's is. I mean, it's Cody's.
Because, again, Cody is a Yeti. I am not.
I think to make it fair, you probably should have had 2 strips so it would be more visible.
I did, because Courtney was like, oh, you want me to finish up? And did it again. So I did. All right. I'll play that audio coming back for you. It's stupid, but I got to do it.
It's awesome. Don't let him. I mean, I haven't heard his, but Cody's is awesome.
Oh, man. I did not enjoy Saturday's show. Let's just put it that way. All right? Let's take a break. When we come back in the next hour, I'll give you that audio and on the record, ACC champion, SEC champion, Big Ten champion, Big 12 champion, Pac-12 champion, and 4 playoff teams. I'll lay those out for you when we return. Rob, Lonzo, you. This is the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
All right, so someone changed the record settings in here, and when you go to save it, it won't save. So you have to convert it. This is a problem I had Saturday morning, and I'm pretty sure it had to be. Tim says he didn't change anything, but he is the factor.
Yeah.
He was in here. Forget how to change the record settings so I can make sure that doesn't happen again. No, but it looks fine. I mean, so I don't get it. I mean, it's set up right. Maybe it's.
Oh, Trey, you're gonna hear them both when we come back.
Maybe it's the save settings. Yeah, Prism in the first break.
Prism on the first break.
Did that just not play?
We'll find you.
Did I put it in the wrong place? What? Maybe I just didn't put it in there. Maybe that's why I didn't play. Oops.
Happens to the best.
6:30.
Sponsored by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit Progressive.com. Deshaun Watson is reportedly begun the mandatory counseling that's part of his 11-game settlement with the NFL. The Browns QB needs to pass an evaluation.
So I don't know if I told you this, but when we went to see the Dragon Ball movie, we had a conversation outside, the five of us that were there together, and we were talking about anime, or more those guys were, because they're big time into anime. I like some anime, but I mean, they were going deep dives into it. And there's a group of younger black dudes in a circle next to us. They were all talking wrestling.
I love it.
So there's a conversation of anime in one, conversation of wrestling in the other. And it was all WWE talk, by the way, not AEW talk, which was surprising. Is that because of Triple H, or is it because they're more into WWE than AEW?
I mean, it's definitely more established. Did you? Well, you didn't see yesterday, I'm assuming. Leading up to the NASCAR race at Watkins Glen.
It's a good assumption.
The grand marshals of the race and guest stars who they based an entire pregame show around: Bianca Belair and husband.
Really?
Yep.
That is cool.
I thought it was cool.
And they probably had a good time because they look like they have a
they
good
were having a
time.
blast.
They have a good time wherever they're at.
They were in the. They had who was that? I think Bobby Labonte take Montez around for a spin.
Was he screaming the whole time?
He's screaming. He's like, "Go faster! Let's go faster! I want the smoke!" Like he was having a ball.
To that end, lad, we discussed it on the Upstate Pulse Saturday, and I let the other three guys go first, including my son, and all he did was critique the 3D anime style as opposed to the 2D anime style. And then when they were done, I said, all right, I got to jump in here and say, listen, go see this movie. It's a good movie. If you listen to these guys, they made it sound like it was bad, and it was a good movie. It's just because they don't like the art style. I think you can be critical, but be hypercritical to the point where you make something sound like you didn't like it, and they all loved the movie. And my friend Patrick Brown, who was there, turns his phone around just to show me all the Dokkan characters that he's got that I can't get in forever. For like 5 years. Every time I see him, he shows me the stuff that he got and that I can't get. And it's all luck of the draw. And he always gets them and I don't. Oh, I hate that. Stinking braggart. I hope you're watching right now.
What a jerk, Patrick.
Not a jerk. I just wish I was him. I want those characters.
The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, Lonzo, you. All right, let's run through this real quick. I forgot to even bring this up till Lonzo reminded me. So here's what happened. Cody Decker, my co-host, and I on Saturdays had a parlay challenge going with our production crew, who kind of started to feel themselves a little bit, right? Hayden asked Mario want to bet. Then all of a sudden he was like ready to go toe-to-toe with me and Cody. Anyway, so they challenged us to a parlay competition. Every week, we would put together a 3-leg parlay. If one parlay hit and the other team's parlay did not hit, you win. If both parlays hit in a week, then whoever took the longer odds in their parlay won the tiebreaker. So we went back and forth. I think like 4 weeks we didn't have a winner. And on 3 of those occasions, Cody Decker and I missed our parlay by either 1 base or 1 strikeout, right? Like the last 2, we had the scoreline right, another stat right, and we had Jose Altuve to have 2 bases. He got a single, and that was it. So we missed by half a bag. And in the next one, we had the alternate run line right and Aaron Judge RBI correct, but we had Nestor Cortez to record 6 strikeouts, and they pulled him way early with only 5. So we missed by half a strikeout, right? Well, in the week that I was not there, when I was down in the Dominican Republic, and the week I was down in the Dominican drinking on the beach, I thought that they were going to take a week off from the Parlay Challenge, but they elected to go for it, which left Cody Decker to build the parlay without me, which is fine. Cody, when it comes to baseball, I have never worked with anybody who knows baseball more than Cody Decker. So I'm like, yeah, of course, that's fine. Well, all of the parlays that we have put together have been 5-1 or longer odds, right? I think we had like one that was like plus 480. And all the rest were 5-1 or better. Well, the production crew put together a 3-leg parlay, Lonzo. That was like plus 310. It was like 3-1, right? So it was like half as risky as the bets that Cody and I had been taking all parlay challenge long. And it hit. Because of course it did. Because it was like plus 310, 320. It was a nothing bet, all right? But it hit. So Cody and I lost the parlay challenge, and the punishment, which by the way, and I wish I could remember who it was, but it was somebody in the GSP audience that suggested this punishment, right? Somebody from our listening audience, and if it was you, shoot me a text. Somebody from our listening audience submitted to BetQL that a punishment bet should be that we should have to get body hair waxed off.
What if that was Diesel?
Fair play. Fair play. So anyway, the bet was the losing team had to get body hair waxed off of their hairiest body part that was allowed to be shown on television, right? Cody Decker went first. Cody Decker is a bear, all right? People who think Bigfoot are real, they're not. They just saw Cody Decker working out shirtless, all right? The man is hairy, like real hairy. Cody claimed that the hairiest part of his body was his chest, right? The moneymaker was off limits. No, like, mustache waxing. The moneymaker was off limits, and it had to be shown on TV. Cody went left pectoral muscle. Do we have the sound from that?
In theory, when I push play, it's going to work.
In theory, here's what it sounded like when Cody Decker had to get waxed. Down into the hair. Karen, if you will let us know when you're going to pull.
One, two, three. Oh!
She's not done yet.
You gotta go faster, Karen! Oh, God! It was
One more
supposed to be one! It was supposed to be... Karen, stop it!
My God. Cody Decker was supposed to have one strip of hair waxed off of his chest. The lady, Miss Karen, now Cody's an LA actor, right? He still plays ball, but he does a lot of acting on like TV shows and whatnot around LA. Cody brought in a professional waxer to give him the business. She came in. She had to brush the doormat that is his chest hair over.
Sorry, when you said professional waxer, I'm thinking a guy named Guido, but that's just me.
No, never mind. So he brought in Miss Karen, a professional waxer, who did the first strip. And when she did the first strip, I'm like, there's still wax there. So what does she do? Because Cody, you could see, like, Cody sank back in the chair, right? Sank back in the chair, and he's like, oh, it's over. And what does she do? She takes that strip and pats it back down. And the terror in his eyes when he realized he was not done. And she went for round two. Well, she went for round two, ripped off round number two. And when number two came out, I genuinely thought Cody was going to fall out of his chair, right? Like, he's like reaching, when you get it done, they give you like a little thing of aloe to immediately rub to like soothe the burn. So he like reaches forward for that, and Karen, the wax lady, Ric Flair chops the strip back on. And that's when you hear him yelling, it was supposed to be one. Because he had to go 3 times. We got done. I'm like, what happened? She's like, there was some left over. You can't leave it there, right? Like, you can't leave it there. It's got to come off. So he had to go 3 times to get that patch out. It was not great. Well, I then had to sit for an hour reliving the horror, the Jigsaw-esque Saw movie that I just watched with Cody Decker having a ferret ripped off of his chest before it was my turn. And just for boats and giggles, I did not have a professional waxer come in to do mine. I had the lady friend. Now, the lady friend has some experience with waxing body hair removal, right? As a lot of women do. So I'm like, do you know how to do this? And at this point, we're on the air. So it's like, I don't have a choice. Either she does it or I do it. I'm like, do you know how to do this? And she goes, eh. So we get to a break. And Cody's like, hey, we're going to ask Karen before she does this. We're going to have some fun. We're going to ask her a couple of questions about it on the air, right? And I go out to the living room where the lady friend is hanging out, giggling like a schoolgirl about being allowed to cause me pain and suffering live on the air. And I'm like, hey, Karen, the wax lady, is about to talk a little bit about this. Do you want to come hear what she has to say so that we can get it right the first time? And she goes, why would I want to do that? Awesome. So about an hour later, now I fortunately for me in this one case and none other, I am not a hairy man. All right? The hair on my arms and leg is very fine. I have no chest hair.
You know what? He keeps saying this like there's no hair there. He just showed
hair.
No, you're showing your arm. He showed the legs. There's hair there. Not like Cody. Not like Cody, but it's still going to hurt.
Cody got waxed and it looked like there was a small woodland creature attached to a glue trap. That's what Cody's look like. So anyway, the lady friend comes in.
Wow, you colored that well. Now I can't. That's exactly what that looked like. Good job.
The lady friend comes in.
You should do play-by-play.
I really should. I thought about it once. I might try it this Friday. We'll see. The lady friend comes in to wax hair off of my left calf. And it sounded like this. Do we have I'm assuming we have the audio for it.
Again, we're going to push play and we'll see.
It sounded like this. Pat it down real. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't like this at all.
I don't want to do it.
Pat it down and then against the grain. Don't tell me, just rip it off. Oh my God. Okay. All right, kid. All right.
Nice and smooth.
There you have it.
Is there any left? Is there any left?
Oh no.
Any left?
It is.
No, is there any wax left? You gotta get.
Do you want to go again?
You gotta get all the wax. You gotta get all the
What
wax.
the hell? I don't want to go again. That was when I had made the mistake of telling the lady friend that Cody Decker's wax job took 3 pulls. And then she decided, so does yours. No, it didn't. It absolutely did not. She went back in for more. I did not like it. I did not enjoy it. And now we are coming up with an extreme punishment because we both now want to absolutely punish the production crew for making us go through that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, has this deterred you from any radio bets in the future?
No.
Okay, all right.
No, it's making it worse.
You just want to take it, you want to step it up.
It's making it worse.
Okay. What if you were to lose multiple times? Is there at some point that you go, you know what, that's enough?
Probably, but it's never happened to me before, right? It's never happened. There's a reason I host this show. There's a reason Cody and I host this show because we're pretty good. We're pretty good at picks. I've never lost on this show. I have not lost back-to-back bets yet, right? I've lost a couple. I had to eat some Vegemite. In a couple of weeks, I have to dress up like Razor Ramon and do a whole show as the bad guy.
When you do that, I want to see some drip. I mean, there's got to be some. There's got to be a chance that some of that could get in your eyes and it would sting.
Oh yeah, it's going full tilt, right? Going full tilt. Hating ass Mario hates needles. So we gave him the option, Lonzo. We gave him the option of he can do one of two things. He can somewhere in the place of his choosing receive a tattoo the size of a quarter that are just the initials RBCD of Rob Brown and Cody Decker, right? He can receive our initials as a quarter-size tattoo anywhere on his body that he wants, or he can get a belly button ring. Those are his picks.
See, you're in territory right there where I'd just be like, no, I'm not. I am not. You know, this is as far
I waxed hair off my body.
Yeah, hair grows back.
You take a belly button ring out at some point. You don't have to keep it forever.
Yeah, but
It's got to keep it through the end of baseball season.
from what I understand, tattoo removal is very painful.
That's why we gave him the choice. Tattoo is less painful than a belly button ring.
If he makes the kind of money that most people make in this business, he should not do this.
Oh,
Pat.
we'd pay for the tattoo.
That's
we'd
not
pay for it.
That's not what I mean. There's he's not getting paid enough to do something like that. That's what I'm saying.
So anyway, for those of you not watching on the stream, there it is. There's the bear. I can't get really.
Yeah, good luck spotting it.
Yeah.
It's not as noticeable as Cody's.
All right. That's it. That's it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. There's the audio. If you want to hear more of it, you can go to the Rob Brown Show on Twitter. Both of those clips have been retweeted by my account. Retweeted by my account. Go to @the Rob Brown Show, and you can search through those because I never want to speak about that ever
When
again.
he said retweeted, he was thinking redacted.
I might as well have. I should. Let's take a break. When we come back, conference champions predictions. Who's going to win the ACC, the SEC, the Big Ten, the Big 12, the Pac-12? I'm going to give you my thoughts when we come back. My name is Rob. He's the great one, Lonzo. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. You're listening to The Fan Upstate.
Where's my...
We're right back. Stream, don't go anywhere. All right, dudes and dudettes, we are back. We already used, Trey, we already did the hot pepper challenge. We did a, Cody lost the bet and had to take the what is it called? The hot chip challenge, the one chip challenge. And he got through it pretty well. Surprisingly well, actually. He got through it pretty well. I have 2 Carolina Reapers growing in my backyard right now that I'm about to make some salsa out of. That I'm going to bring in and let people around the office, if they've got the stones, taste test it.
I was getting gas this morning. This vehicle comes around real quick towards my car. Looks like it's going to hit my car. I'm like, oh, great. And then they roll down the window, and I realized it was Raven. I was just like, I was ready for like, okay, how do I handle this? And she thought it was hilarious. QC Kinetics in the next break. QC Kinetics. QC.
QC Kinetics, next break.
Next break.
All right, let's talk a little football, y'all. Because there are 0 more Saturdays between now and the end of the year that do not have football, ladies and gentlemen. And it turns out, yes, I am excited. Let's jump into it, shall we? We'll start with the Atlantic Coast Conference. And I got to tell you, there's like a part of me that's like, do we really need to spend a bunch of time on this? Right? Like, do we need to spend a bunch of time on the ACC?
No, I mean, you could look at what happened last year and think, is it going to be a continuance of that? In some areas, yes, but at the top, some people are getting back where they were, for 5-6 years, however many years they won the ACC.
Yeah, it's Clemson's conference to lose, right? September 5th at Georgia. We've done the schedule thing. We're not going to go through the whole schedule again, but there's a couple of spots that are interesting. October 1st, you got NC State. That comes the week after you're at Wake Forest. I would be careful of that game. I am a little interested in Florida State this year, right? A little interested. I think they were trending up a little bit last year. Had a rough go to open the season, got better as the year went on. I'm intrigued by that game because it's at FSU. And it is the second in back-to-back road games. The week before that, you're at Boston College. Coming into that Boston College game, you're at Wake and then home for NC State. That's an interesting little 4-game stretch. At Wake, NC State, at BC, at FSU. There might be a trap L hiding in there. November 5th at Notre Dame is the game. Then you got back-to-back homers to end the year with Miami and South Carolina coming to town. Realistic, I could see 10-2 from this team. 10-2 with the bowl game. Realistic, 10-2, probably still good enough to win this conference, to be honest with you.
Yeah, win the conference, but if you go 10-2, you're not making the playoff.
No, you're not making the playoff at 10-2. So there's a part of me that thinks Clemson is a hefty Vegas pick to make the playoffs, right? Now, granted, we've told you how many times, massive drop-off from number 3 down to number 4, right? I'm not going to pull and read those odds again, but suffice to say, everybody in the top 3 spots, Bama, Ohio State, and Georgia, are all in the market of 3-1, right? Bama's like plus 180. Ohio State's plus 225, and Georgia's like plus 300. And then Clemson's like plus 1,100, right? So it's by no means a guarantee. But I'm looking down the rest of the schedule here, and it basically comes down to a Miami team that I think could be 9-3. They also could very well be 10-2. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, my ACC championship game prediction this year, Lonzo, Clemson's taking on Miami, and I'm convinced of it. I
would love to see. I think a lot of people would love to see that because that means Miami's somewhat back.
Yep. Now, Miami fans have been telling you they've been back for years now, right? They've been back ever since Randy Shannon left. They've been back, except for they haven't. Something is happening down there under Mario Cristobal. When it was Miami Day at ACC Media Kickoff a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking to folks from the Miami media when we were listening to Mario Cristobal give the State of the Canes address. There's something different about Miami. They're not going to be a team, I don't think, that allows their confidence to get out ahead of them. And I think that's been one of the big problems for Miami the last couple of years. Is that I think Miami convinced themselves Miami was back, so they went out there and played like they were a playoff team, and they weren't. But Mario Cristobal is a phenomenal recruiter. Everywhere he's gone, he's run exceptionally productive offenses. And Miami was 7-5 last year, right? 3 of those losses, North Carolina, Virginia, and Florida State last year. Remember, FSU's a big rivalry game. That one always gets screwy. We have seen some bad Miami teams beat good FSU teams, some bad FSU teams beat good Miami teams, and all the way around. The loss to Alabama last year was a loss to Alabama. They played Michigan State earlier in the year. Michigan State at the beginning of last year, Lonzo, was really good. Like, some of us thought Sparty had a chance last year. They also lost to UNC, Virginia, and FSU. 3 losses by a total of 8 points. 1 touchdown and a 2-point conversion was the difference between 7-5 and 8-2, right? Now, there are some concerns about Miami. The offensive line I don't think it's going to be great. Tyler Van Dyke took over for Derek King early last year. Even missing the first couple of games, went for just a touch shy of 3K yards, 25 TDs to just 6 picks. And that was as a freshman. I got to replace some wide receivers. But defensively, the back 7 is going to be decent. But the front 4 could be exceptional. They got a couple of transfers in UCLA's Caleb Johnson, West Virginia's Darryl Porter. Defense is going to be better. Prediction right now, Clemson versus Miami in the ACC championship game. I think Miami is likely a team that's looking at a 9-3 season, realistically 10-2. Bethune-Cookman, Southern Miss. September 17th, they got to go to Kyle Field. They're at Texas A&M. That's an L. With all due respect to the Canes, A&M's going to be good. Middle Tennessee, win. I think North Carolina, not as good as they were last year, should be a win. At Virginia Tech, tough game there, should be a win. They'll beat Duke. October 29th, they are at Virginia. The Who's are going to be okay this year. Toss-up game to me. They follow Virginia back home in Miami against FSU. They want revenge. They should win that game. Unless I'm right about FSU and they find a new gear this year. But I'm not banking on that. I'll believe on that when I see it, right? Which is what I've said for Miami. I'll believe Miami's back when Miami's back. I think they might be this year. Then they're at Georgia Tech, win. They got to come to Clemson. That could be real interesting because it's the second to last week of the game, of the season. They got Pitt the week after that, and then the week after that, they might face Clemson again, right? ACC championship prediction is going to be Miami versus Clemson. FSU a common opponent between the two. And we'll get a good read on that. Outside of that, I just, Boston College is a 500 team. FSU will be happy to get 8 wins this year. I think 7-5 is realistic. They got Duquesne to open, but remember in week 1, game number 2 for FSU, they play LSU in New Orleans. That's a home game for the Tigers. All right. They got to go to NC State. Tough game. They got to go to Miami. Tough game. I do not know why Syracuse has been such a bugaboo for FSU, but that one's in the Carrier Dome. Tough game. And then they wrap it up with Florida. I don't know what the hell to make of Florida, to be honest with you. Louisville's going to be 7-5. Malik's going to carry them to 2 or 3 of those wins. NC State could be a 10-win team. NC State could be a 10-win team. They have been threatening to be really good. That being said, are they better than Clemson? No, I don't think so. I'm trying to think of who else on NC State's roster schedule do I look at as an L? Not ECU, not Charleston Southern. Texas Tech is coming to town. They should win that game, right? Disrupt. UConn's a dub. They got Clemson here. That's an L. FSU comes to town. They can win that game. They're at Syracuse. They can win that game. Vatech is in their house. Wake Forest is in their house. BC is in their house. Those should all be wins. They got to go to Louisville, followed by at North Carolina. I think 10-2 is fine for NC State. Syracuse is going to be 5-7, 6-6. Wake Forest is going to be 7-5 out of the Atlantic. I mean, it's Clemson and Miami in this conference, right? And even Clemson and Miami, who will both be better, I mean, they may very well be fighting for a playoff spot. But if either one of them's getting it, it's going to be Clemson, right? Any thoughts on any of that? Am I far off on anything, Zoe?
I wish that I could add or disagree or something like that as far as the ACC goes, but no, I cannot.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's written. Big Ten. Big Ten East, Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State, Maryland, Indiana, and Rutgers. We talked about how there's just not parity this year. There's 3 top teams, and then there's everybody else. I mean, I guess there's parity as long as you're not talking about Bama, Ohio State, and Georgia. Ohio State runs away with this conference.
Well, that was said last year too, and it didn't happen. They lost to Michigan and didn't win the conference.
You think Ohio State's gotten to the point where people give them bonus points just because of the name?
Well, I mean, yeah, probably. They're a blue blood of college football, and year in, year out, they reload. The fact that C.J. Stroud gets another year, the receiving core, even though they lost some big names, they still got Njigba. They definitely reload at receiver. If you look around the NFL, there are a lot of Ohio State receivers in the NFL because they find those guys. Stroud's going to be better this year. Heisman Trophy candidate. They're going to win the Big Ten. And they're definitely going to avenge that loss at the end of the year for sure.
Who's the biggest threat? Is it Michigan? It's Michigan, right?
Probably, yes.
It's got to be Michigan.
I don't want to give them credit.
I know you don't. But I don't know who else the big threat could be. Penn State, I like Penn State, but they're not where they were, right? They're not there. I think Michigan's a 10-win football team this year. I looked down their schedule earlier today. I mean, the only L that I circled on their roster is Ohio State. At Iowa could be a tough game because you're coming off of UConn and Maryland, which is not that tough. But then you got to go at Iowa, at Indiana, and then back home for Penn State. If you look too far ahead, Iowa could be a sneaky good little team.
I will tell you, just because this is fresh in my mind, and I had a wonderful conversation with the big guy downstairs who tells me that Iowa is going to do really well this year and also beat Ohio State. I told him he's wrong, that I think the team's going to do well, but they're not going to beat Ohio State.
You want to invite him on for a on-air bet? I'm happy to do it.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Ooh. Yeah, let's do it.
You want to invite him on?
Yeah.
We're talking downstairs.
Yeah,
boss.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, both bosses are Iowa.
They're both Iowa guys.
Yeah, but we're talking downstairs. The other boss, no. No, I don't.
Yeah, because his bet's going to be extra shifts next week, Zoe.
No. Last time there was a bet involved and he picked the result is when I had to wear a dress.
Uh-huh.
That was him.
Uh-huh.
I don't want any of that. Not that the downstairs boss couldn't be somewhat maniacal, but here's the problem we have is if we bring on the big boss and we have a bet between he and I, will I be like, you need to pay up when you lose? Because he's going to lose. And, so what do I do because you can't go, hey, boss, when am I getting that thing that you said that I was going to get if my team won?
I don't know, man. I was feeling themselves a little bit, right? Iowa was in the Big Ten championship last year. I mean, they got absolutely curb stomped by Michigan, but they played in it. None of us projected that at the beginning of the year. They got to the Citrus Bowl. They lost that one too, but that's not the point. The point is Iowa got there. That's a 10-win team last year, and they might be better this year.
See, I don't know if having him on is a good idea because I'm going to be I wimp out as far as what my part of the bet would be if he lost. You want to embarrass the boss, man.
I mean, if he's willing to come up here and do it, he knows what he's getting himself into.
He's already a veteran, so he'll be right at home on the microphone in these airwaves, but still.
He's just going to spend his time 15 minutes telling me to stop yelling.
All right, I'm not wimping. I'm not.
Okay.
If you get him up here, we'll come up with something, and I'll pay up if I lose. I'm pretty confident I'm not going to lose when it comes to this, but we'll see.
I like it. Iowa could be decent.
You like it because you're not involved, and you want to see me grovel if I
Correct.
lose.
On-air bets that I'm not involved in are the best bets. 100%. 100%. Michigan is going to be fine. I just don't think they just don't have Ohio State's number back-to-back.
All right, so who you got Ohio State playing in the Big Ten championship?
I think Iowa, right? I mean, it's not Minnesota. It's not the Illini, certainly. Nebraska is not back. Northwestern's going to be a 5, maybe 6-win team. Purdue's going to be a 6, 7-win team. Can Wisconsin bounce back this year out of the West? Can it be Wisconsin?
Every 3 to 4 years, Wisconsin fields a really strong team that's in contention.
Yeah.
So it's a possibility.
I think I'm going to go Iowa with a dark horse of Wisconsin back. Graham Mertz is back for his 3rd year. They're going to be really good running the ball. Their offensive line is returning a lot of guys. The Badgers averaged under 3.4 yards per carry 4 times last year. And in those 4 losses, lost to in those 4 games, lost to Penn State, lost to Notre Dame, lost to Michigan, lost to Minnesota. In games where they averaged 3.5 or better, they won them all. And they're going to be a better offensive line this year. I think it's Wisconsin, Ohio State. Sorry, Michigan, man. You're just not there yet. You're just not there yet.
I'm not sorry.
I know you're not. All right, let's come back to the SEC and the Pac-12. So in the ACC, I've got Clemson v. Miami. Florida State could be an interesting party involved in that as a common opponent. But I just don't think that they are back yet. They want to be, but they're not. In the Big Ten, I've got Ohio State taking on Iowa in the Big Ten championship. Dark horse, don't be surprised if it's Wisconsin. One segment left. I'll give you SEC picks next on The Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Be right back. Stream, don't go anywhere. not to say that we won't have some upsets in the SEC. Of course we will. Like I said, I don't know what to make of Florida yet. I'm not. A lot of people, because Billy Napier has showed up. And the fans are bought in, and the players are bought in, and the recruiting's been really good for Billy Napier in his short time there, right? A lot of people are completely bought in. I'm not there yet, right? Being able to recruit well is excellent. It's awesome. And it's certainly a positive indicator. The blinker is on that you're about to get back into the fast lane. But there's still a level of execution. Now, Billy Napier, coming over from Louisiana, has shown already that he can coach a squad to a lot of good wins. So I've got no reason to doubt that he can do that at the next level, at the SEC level. But I still want to see it before I buy in, right? Florida ain't got Georgia yet. The world's largest outdoor cocktail party is, despite not having a proverbial dog in the fight, the cocktail party is one of college football's best games. It's a great rivalry. It's an underappreciated rivalry, and it's an underappreciated gimmick game. I adore it. I've been twice. I love it. They're not on Georgia's level yet, but it's not. The East belongs to Georgia. I looked down Georgia's roster because Georgia being labeled behind Alabama and behind Ohio State in terms of playoff considerations is interesting, specifically since Georgia and Alabama will square off to play each other in the SEC championship game, right? Georgia, Oregon to open the season September 3rd. Doesn't scare me for the Dogs. Their next most interesting challenge is here when they take on South Carolina. Sorry, Gamecocks, you're not there yet. But that's not a shot. Very few teams are. They're at Ole Miss. They're fine. Auburn comes between the hedges in Athens. They're fine. All due respect to Keegan. The cocktail party, October 29th in Jacksonville, is a 50-50 crowd. That's a game won by who's the better team. Should be Georgia. There is one interesting game for me. Texter says Georgia's 2022 slate is the easiest in the SEC. I think they're right. I think you're right, Texter. The only game that even interests me, and frankly, it shouldn't, is coming off of the cocktail party October 29th. They got Tennessee at the house. A lot of people high on Tennessee right now. I'm not one of them. Georgia wins the East. Bama wins the West. That's just how it lays out for me.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
We'll go deeper into that later in the week.
So let's face it, none of the other conferences really matter anyway.
Correct. All
right, time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what's trending in the world, and he will tell everybody what he knows about. The first thing that's trending is Jeff Jarrett.
It has been announced that JEFFJARRETT, Jeff Jarrett, no longer works for WWE, which, frankly, how many of us knew that he did? Like, we all know he did the completely unnecessary guest referee spot at SummerSlam, which I still don't get, like, what the point of that was, other than, I guess, just to have Jeff Jarrett there because he was in town. So
part of his contract probably is just to appear on a pay-per-view, and then he was done. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, maybe, but like again, I still don't understand why. Right? Like, what was the point there?
He was doing some backstage stuff too.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure he was working in a production.
He was
role.
a VP of something, and no longer.
Isn't everybody there a VP of something?
That's how they do that. The next thing is trending is Cam Newton.
I saw Cam trending earlier, and I'm not 100% sure why. I did see, and I don't know if this is the reason, But I did see earlier that Trey Boston, who played with Cam in Carolina for a couple of years, has just picked up a gig on the ACC network and did an interview where he got asked about Cam Newton. I don't know if that's the trigger for Cam trending right now, but that's all I've seen. The second thought is Cam's available, and there's going to be some teams that still need a quarterback. Is he an option anymore?
Including Cleveland. That's why he's trending.
I mean, do you want to bring him in and then...
I'd take him over Brissett.
That's fair.
I would.
That's
Yeah.
fair. Good call.
Everybody except for Keyshawn. All right, the last thing that's trending, well, no, we may have time for two more, is Punt God.
Punt God! There are two punt gods right now, all right? There are two punt guys right now. Number one, for those of you that did not see it yet, go find it. Blake Gillikin, punting for the Saints, hit an 81-yard punt that came off his foot on his own 7-yard line and went through the end zone on the other side of the field. Punt God. And on top of that, it was announced earlier today that the Bills have released punter Matt Hack, which means that the OG punt god, Matt Araiza, has won Buffalo's punter battle. Ladies and gentlemen, not only are punters people too, but they're weapons, man. They're weapons.
Last thing trending is Hooters.
Hooters announced earlier today that nationwide they have signed 51 college football players to NIL deals, all of them offensive linemen. Get that chicken wing money, y'all. Fat boys love some wings. Now I know what I'm going to do for lunch. That's it for us, ladies and gentlemen. We're back tomorrow to do it all over again. My name is Rob Brown. The great one Lonzo's right over there. We appreciate you guys listening, and you're the best. We'll see you tomorrow to try harder on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. And now, as I don't have a laptop but have much work to do, I shall return home. You guys are amazing people. We love you much. See you guys